Indianapolis Colts defeat the Titans 33-17, and I was mostly wrong with my prediction for this Sunday night football game, which was the final game of the NFL regular season. Because I predicted the Titans would win a great close game, 31-28, and they ended up losing 33-17, and also that Henry would run for 2 touchdowns and over 101 yards, and he was effective enough that he was able to get the he was effective enough that he was able to help that he was moving the football, that he had over 78 yards, and was a reason why the Titans were moving the football, except he was still contained since he didn't run for over 100 yards, and he didn't run for 100 yards or over 101 yards, and he didn't run for 2 touchdowns at all. He ran for 0. Gabbert throwing for 2 touchdowns. He threw for 1 touchdown, and the whole Titans making more big plays than the Colts to win this game. That obviously didn't happen because the Colts made more big plays needed to win this game, including in the fourth quarter with those 2 great interceptions, and the Colts ended up moving the football, eating up clock, scoring a field goal, and then scoring a touchdown, the soul crusher, to put the game mostly put the game not out of reach, but making it damn hard for the Titans to actually win the game, since they would have had to score 2 touchdowns and convert two-point conversion twice to tie the game. And this was challenging to watch more than once, because starting with the first half, the Titans, it really looked like it was going to be a replay of the first game versus the Colts, because the Colts had no challenge at all as far as moving the football, scored a touchdown. Again, no challenge at all on their second possession, moved the football, scored a touchdown, and then the Titans finally get a big break, end up punting the football, ends up going on the end zone, so I'm really optimistic that the Titans are going to be able to make a big play with this, and that's exactly what they did. They did what was needed. There was pressure on Luck, and he threw the football to avoid getting the safety, ends up throwing it right to the Titans linebacker Brown, ends up easily returning it for a touchdown to remove the shutout, and the Titans get back in the game. Momentum's changed. It's made a close game, 14-7, and still the Colts are able to increase that lead and continue. And it was great to see that the Titans defense proved to be effective. They were the main reason why they were able to keep this a close game, including with what looked like it was going to be, including the defense. There was Colts were moving the football, and it really looked like the Colts were going to score, but then the Titans defense ends up stepping up and creating a fumble, and it's recovered and has a decent return. And also, the Titans were able to move the football to decrease the lead before halftime, since they moved the football late in the second quarter, and they were able to kick a field goal to decrease the lead. So it was encouraging. The Titans weren't down by that much at halftime, and I was optimistic the Titans were going to be able to tie this game and come back to win, and they continued to. Except the Colts continue to be able to move the football, including to increase the lead, and really look like, including 24-10. So it really looked like I was still optimistic the Titans were still able to, since they were still hanging around, that they were still be able to tie this game, and they were able to move the football on a great drive, including because of getting the football at midfield, and Henry had a great run, and then on another play there was Gabbert ends up throwing to, I think it was a Titans tight end, and he ends up running into the end zone to decrease that lead to 24-17. So really, Titans continue to hang around and score that needed offensive touchdown, so it looks like they have momentum. Then you get into the fourth quarter, Titans continue to hang around, and then they have this decent drive of where they're moving the football, and I really have optimism, no doubt, along with the Titans fans, that they're going to move this football really looked like the Titans were going to move the football and tie this game 24-24. But then a soul crusher happens. The worst thing happens with Gabbert. Desperate ends up throwing a interception, and the Colts end up intercepting the football. So that kills all the momentum of that drive of what looked like the Titans were going to be able to not just move the foot. They were moving the football and really look like they were going to really look like they were going to move the football and tie this game 24-24, but doesn't happen because of that backbreaker interception by Gabbert, and Colts are able to have the momentum that doesn't return to the Titans because the Colts are able to continue to eat up clock, kick a field goal to increase the lead to 20 to increase the lead to 27 to 17, and then to make it worse, there's another interception by Gabbert, and the Colts are able to continue to eat up clock and this time score a touchdown to make it highly unlikely the Titans would be able to tie the game, since 33-17, the Titans would need 2 touchdowns and they would need a 2-point conversion twice, along with likely having to recover an onside kick or stop the Colts 3 times, still with enough time on the clock. And so it was extremely frustrating, a Charlie Brown style choke, that the Titans would get to the final game and they would get to the fourth quarter in a must-win game, and it really looking like they were going to be able to tie this game, and didn't look like they were going to be able to maybe tie this game and maybe be able to win, but they didn't, mainly because of the collapse in the fourth quarter with 2 interceptions and the Colts taking advantage. So the Colts, as usual, the Colts outplayed the Titans in what was a close game because they made the plays needed to win this game, including mostly in the fourth quarter because of those 2 interceptions, and the Colts taking advantage of eating up clock, scoring a field goal, eating up clock, and scoring a touchdown. Both of those interceptions, but mainly there's the first interception, there's the second interception, and then there's the 2 drives. Those are the big plays as far as why the Colts outplayed the Titans and won this game. And so again, it's just extremely frustrating that, as usual, even if it's a close game, the Titans just can't finish climbing that wall and make the needed plays needed to defeat the Colts, which typically happens in the fourth quarter. And undeniably, and it was also, so it's extremely frustrating. I'm utterly disappointed that the Titans could get to the final game and they have an opportunity. It's just simple win and they make the playoffs as a wild card and they win their 10th game, and that didn't happen because of the collapse in the fourth quarter, which was a Charlie Brown style collapse. And as far as how disappointed I am that the Titans could get this far, and on a scale of 1 to 10 doesn't cover, it wouldn't be a 10, it'd be a 20, because the Titans ended up having their highest win streak of 4 games, and they really gave me that high optimism. Instead of a 10, it's a 20, because Titans gave me the high hope that they were going to make the playoffs because they won the 4 games they needed. They ended up having a high winning streak. They ended up winning 4 games. They just had to win this 5th game, defeat the Colts and at home, and that didn't happen. And they were able to get the game in the fourth quarter where it really looked like they collapsed in the fourth quarter. And the whole thing with the collapse in the fourth quarter, they make it a close game, they keep it a close game, they give me the optimism also that they're going to tie this game at 24, and it doesn't happen, and it just goes from bad to worse. So with it increase, so those are the reasons why I rate this as a 20, why my disappointment is not a 10, the standard 10, but a 20, because I had 4 weeks of, I had a high amount of optimism, and it was a giant collapse, a giant choke at the absolute worst time, including in the fourth quarter, where it goes from a 7-point game to a 10-point game to a 16-point game. after what it looked like the Titans were going to tie the game at 24-24, along with coming back to down from 14 as much as 14 zip, and coming back and being able to remain in the game, and then again then again decreasing the lead, and then again in the fourth quarter really looking like they're going to tie this game. And I had optimism maybe that they were going to tie this game at 24, and it didn't happen. So this is undeniably, it's one of the worst losses I've ever seen. One of the most disappointing losses I can ever recall for the Titans, because it gave me a high amount of hope that they were going to make the playoffs and with a high win streak, and it didn't happen because of choking at the absolute worst time in their final game, which was at home their final game at home versus the great Andrew Luck and the Colts who continues to remain undefeated versus the Titans.